The Case of the Missing Freckles, a stuffed wombat production.
This is the Shirehampton Stuffed Wombat Society with their performance of The Case of the Missing Freckles. Two men sit at a kitchen table finishing their lunch. The BBC World at One News draws to a close on a nearby radio.
Now back to our top story this lunchtime, the disappearance of the renowned beauty and socialite Princess Beaucoup de Freckles of Clermont-Retariga. The alarm was raised when Princess Freckles, who is on a tour of the French Champagne region, failed to turn up for an engagement this morning. The princess was due to be the guest of honour at the World Catan Championship, where her nephew, Patrice Vouleye, is defending his world title. Police are keen to trace the princess's movements after she left the Franken-Pommery domain in Rheims late last night.
Clermont-Retariga. That's a new one on me. Have you heard of it, Mugg?
I'm just Googling it right now. Apparently it's a small mountainous country nestled between Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Actually, small doesn't really do justice to it. Most English country houses wouldn't fit within its borders.
Goodness, what's the population?
It says 2, but that it depends.
On what?
Whether the local supermarket is making a delivery and if the elderly Queen of Clermont-Retariga is in residence. Look, here's a picture of Tootendonne Castle, the Freckles' ancestral home. I must say it's a pretty ramshackle affair. Apparently there are rumours of vast caverns beneath it, and there's even a ghost, the White Lady. She never appears after dark. People who catch a glimpse of her describe her as tall, tousled hair, with dark eyeliner, and wearing a long, pale nightdress, hence the name. Oh, and it says here that she's thought to be searching for her lost sheepdog, because she can be heard calling out for her collie.
Sounds fascinating.
Oh, and it looks like they do tours too. I say, I've always fancied a bit of ghost hunting. What do you say to a trip to this Tootendonne Castle?
Only if I don't have to fly anywhere. I don't like to increase my carbon footprint unnecessarily, you know.
Fair enough. Let's make a road trip of it. We could take the Eurostar to Paris, then hire a car and drive to Zurich and onwards in the direction of Vaduz.
Any chance we could visit the Champagne region en route?
It's a bit of a detour, old boy.
Oh, go on. You know how much I love champagne.
All right, I'll look into it.
Hello? Oh, goodness. What time is it?
It's about 11:30. Look, sorry to call you so late, but I found this fantastic last-minute deal on the Eurostar first thing tomorrow morning. Pack your bags and I'll have a taxi pick us both up at 5 a.m. Don't forget to bring your passport.
That's rather hasty. What about my beauty sleep?
Come on, old chap, you can sleep on the train. Besides, the sooner we set off, the sooner you get to visit the champagne houses. Votre clé, monsieur.
Merci beaucoup.
Right, let's find our room. If we're lucky, they'll have British TV and we can watch the BBC lunchtime news. I wonder if they found the princess yet.
I'm glad we're on the ground floor. I didn't fancy going up in that rickety old lift. Here we are. Room 101.
Good, we're just in time. I'll turn on the TV.
And police in France are following several lines of inquiry following the disappearance of Princess Freckles. One unconfirmed report claimed that a giant was seen in the vicinity of the Cirque de Rheims sometime before midnight. Local police have been quick to dismiss this as, in their words, complètement fou.
So the princess hasn't turned up then. Sounds like she might have been kidnapped.
If that's the case, it's only a matter of time before a ransom demand is issued.
Of course, there's always the possibility that she has been abducted by a giant.
Yes, if this were a fairy story, then I'd grant you that would be a possibility. But giants don't exist in real life.
Or do they? They could.
Stop it! I don't want you coming out with any conspiracy theory nonsense.
OK, I was just...
Enough! Look, let's plan our route. We pick up the car tonight, so we should aim to leave immediately after breakfast.
My knowledge of French geography is pretty poor. How far away is the Champagne region?
Let me just check Google Maps. Right. Well, Reims and Epinay are about 90 miles away. If we're lucky, we might be able to catch an afternoon champagne tour.
Now you're talking.
Which champagne house do you prefer? Pommery or Moët Chandon?
Let's do Pommery. I'd really like to visit the place where the princess was last seen.
Are you hinting that you'd like to engage in a bit of amateur sleuthing?
Yes, why not? What could possibly be more tempting than champagne, a missing princess, and rumours of a giant?
Will you drift over rolling fields for me?
Good choice, old boy.
You can't beat good live music. They're quite a pair, aren't they?
What?
The duo on the stage.
Oh, yes, right. I thought you were referring to, oh, never mind.
Rhyme, there's a place and a time and a truth to the goal that the fools cannot hold. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you.
Merci beaucoup.
They finished. Bravo!
Yes, bravo. Listen, Zung, the people at Pommery were very tight-lipped about the princess's visit. I'm not sure how we're going to get any more information about her disappearance. I mean, the French police aren't exactly going to share their leads with us, are they?
You're probably right. I think I got a little carried...
Excuse me, you're English, right?
Yes. How did you know?
How do I put this politely, but you're not exactly à la mode, as the French would say.
Do we stick out that much?
Just a bit. Look, I heard you mention the princess. She was in here the night she went missing, you know.
I doubt it. I think people would have spotted her.
Ah, she was heavily disguised. Dark glasses, barber jacket and hair tucked out of the way under a hat.
So, how can you be sure it was her?
There was a single strand of long red hair still on the collar of her barber jacket.
Well spotted, my dear. I wonder what brought her here.
The music perhaps, but more likely the chance to drink more champagne. I gather she has rather a penchant for Pommery.
I suppose that makes sense.
Of course, she left in a bit of a hurry.
Why'd you say that?
So one of my friends was on stage near the end of her set. She'd, left her drink on the table over there, and, it's rather embarrassing, actually.
Go on.
Well, it was about 10:45pm. The princess got up from her table and looked like she was about to leave. Then she spotted my friend's half-full glass of, unattended champagne and, knocked it back, just like that. Of course, my friend spotted her and stopped mid-song.
Crikey, what did the princess do?
She was very clearly embarrassed and rushed out. I think she was too ashamed even to apologise. Of course, my friend wasn't having any of that and ran after her. That Pommery champagne is expensive stuff, you know.
Did she catch her?
Apparently not.
Goodness, the princess must be quite an athlete.
She might be, but my friend gave up the chase. She wouldn't say why, though.
That's a shame. Even knowing which direction the princess went might be useful.
Well, my friend's on next. Why don't you stick around and ask her yourself?
I suppose we could manage another drink here. What do you say, Zung?
Oh, I could probably force another glass of champagne down if I really had to.
She makes a buzz, she'll sting you no fuss, 'cause she's Queen Bee Bethany. Bethany.
Wow, what a voice.
I'm not sure which act I liked best.
Look, I think she's coming over. Well, I must say, Miss...
You can call me Bethany.
Right, Bethany, that was brilliant.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Your friend? Sorry, we didn't catch her name.
Ellie? Yeah, she said you wanted to talk to me about something?
Yes. Ailey said the princess was in here the night she went missing.
Yes. The princess stole my champagne.
And that you gave chase, but you didn't catch her.
Yes. Sorry, I have to.
Wait, please don't go. What's wrong?
I don't want to talk about it.
Why? Has someone threatened you?
No, it's not like that.
Then why don't you want to talk about it?
Because you won't believe me. I told the police what happened and they just laughed at me and asked me what I'd been smoking.
That's jolly unkind of them. We won't laugh at you.
Promise?
Promise?
There was a giant.
What?
Where?
In the gardens round the corner. I heard the princess cry out. That's when I stopped chasing her.
You sure? Did you actually see the giant?
No, but I saw its shadow. It was huge. I was too frightened to go any nearer. And they were too large. Quel est le mot?
Dwarfs?
Oui, c'est ça. Two large dwarves coming out of the bushes. I think the giant has kidnapped the princess.
Could you show us where this, giant was?
Certainly. It's only about 500 meters from here. Follow me.
So this is where you stopped, is it?
Yes, the giant was somewhere in those trees beyond the path. Look, it's dark and I'm frightened. If you don't mind, I'm going back to the bar.
Okay, you've been very helpful. Good luck with the singing career. Goodbye.
Au revoir.
Come on, Zung. Let's see if we can find any evidence of this so-called giant.
What are we looking for? Beanstalks?
No, don't be daft. If there was a giant here, though, it might have left some footprints. Keep your eyes peeled.
It's very dark. I can't see a thing.
Hang on, I'll put the light on my phone. There.
Ah, that's better.
Can you see anything?
No, just a lot of leaves and twigs and... Wait, what's this?
That's a very expensive-looking pen.
It's got some initials on too. B, D, F. Crikey, beaucoup de Freckles.
Look, in the leaves. Is that a piece of notepaper?
Yes, so it is. What does it say?
Patrice, pas de huit, c'est la défaite.
No wheat, 8 is, defeat.
I wonder what it means.
Isn't there a Patrice who's related to the princess?
I say, you're right. The princess was supposed to be watching her nephew, Patrice Vollier, at the Catan World Championships. The tournament hasn't finished yet, so he must still be in town. We need to speak to him as soon as possible.
What's so urgent that you need to see me tonight? I have an important match to play tomorrow.
Do you recognize this?
Mais oui, c'est le plume de mes temps. Pardonnez-moi. Yes, it is my own pen. Where did you find it?
Dans le jardin, of course.
You'll excuse my friend, he's being a little facetious. We found it in the park near the Cirque de Rem. We also found this piece of paper. I wonder if it was a clue to the princess's disappearance.
Let me see. Ah, no. Sadly not. This must be one of the notes she made when I was discussing Catan strategies with her the night before she disappeared.
So it's not a clue to her kidnap?
Malheureusement, no.
Oh well, it was worth a try. Thank you for your time, Patrice. Bonne chance with the Catan tournament.
Merci bien.
Come on, Zung. Let's head back to the hotel. Right. I'm going to turn in. We should make an early start tomorrow. It's about 400 miles to Tootendonny Castle. If we're lucky, we can catch the last tour and be in Vaduz by tomorrow night.
Can I just hear the news before we call it a night?
OK, just a sec. I'll see if I can get the 10 o'clock news on iPlayer on my phone. There.
In other news, French police have expressed concern for the safety and well-being of the famous Dutch savant and polymath Jan Hervel van Vreugde after he failed to turn up for an auction of fine art and porcelain in Rheims today. The alarm was raised by the auction house soon after 11 a.m. when Mr. Hervel van Vreugde, renowned for his punctuality, failed to turn up. Mr. Hervel van Vreugde had been due to watch the sale of his priceless collection of gurgle jugs later that morning. Police are yet to explain his disappearance, but have dismissed any suggestions that it might be linked to that of Princess Freckles.
My word, Rheims is rather dangerous, isn't it?
I'm sure it's not that bad. Anyway, what on earth is a gurgle jug?
Oh, that's a jug shaped like a fish that makes a... Excuse me, a bit of indigestion. It's a jug that makes a gurgling sound when you pour water out of it. Look, I can draw you a picture if you like. Have you got a piece of paper?
Here, use the piece we showed Patrice. We don't have any use for it now.
Right, so it looks like this. Oh, hey, there are some faint indentations on the page already.
What? Give it here.
Careful.
It looks like something was written on another page, and the pressure has left its mark on this page too.
Let me just rub the pencil over it gently. It looks like Jan 11 something something, then VENDR. Oh, that's it.
Well, it's May now. January 11th was ages ago. I wonder what was happening that Friday. Let me check and see what was on. Oh, that's odd.
What?
January the 11th wasn't a Friday.
Maybe she made a mistake.
Oh, I don't know, but I'm too tired to care right now. Let's get some sleep and see if our subconscious minds can't come up with something overnight.
Fair enough. Would you object if I have the first shower, old boy?
Go ahead, old boy. 6 hours driving, and the best we can come up with is that Patrice has hired a couple of hitmen to bump off his aunt, the princess, so that he can inherit her fortune. It hardly seems likely, does it?
I must admit he did seem very pleasant, although he must have a ruthless streak, given how he brushes aside his Catan opponents.
Agreed. You know, it's such a shame all these trees have been cut down. I mean, what would have been more scenic than a winding mountain drive through a pine forest? Ah, at last, here's Tootendonne Castle.
I say, it does look as if it needs a bit of love and attention. What an odd choice of weather vane.
What, you mean the salmon one?
Yes, I was expecting something like a cannon or a lion.
That would seem more appropriate for a castle. Ah, here's the ticket office.
Can I help you?
Yes, 2 for the tour, please.
That will be £100, please.
Crikey, that's a bit steep. Mugg, didn't you check the price before we left?
Sorry, I must have forgotten in the rush. Here you go. 20, 40, 60, 80, £100.
Thank you, please. Meet the tour guide at the main entrance.
Righto. Hang on. I'll park next to the state... Volvo?
Mugg, I'm not sure if my eyes are playing up, but the tour guide looks awfully like, well, Queen Claremont Ratariga herself.
Blimey, I think you're right. I suppose that if you want the history of the place, all the stories and whatnot, there won't be anyone better qualified than the Queen herself. Come on, this should be a real treat.
I have to say, the Queen is a bit vague on the actual detail, isn't she? Most of the stuff is on the information cards. You'd get more information out of Sparkle.
Excuse me, Your Majesty, but who painted that picture of the castle on the wall there?
I don't remember.
Oh, never mind, Your Majesty. It wasn't important. Am I right in thinking that that one there's a portrait of Princess Freckles when she was young?
I don't remember.
Right. So, pretty pointless asking about the ghost then. This is going to get null point on my TripAdvisor report.
That is the end of the tour. Thank you, gentlemen.
Crikey, it's that young lad from the gate. Where did he come from?
There must be a secret passage somewhere.
The Queen commands that you stay the night.
Crumbs.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dinner will be served at 9 p.m.
Goodness, what's for dinner? Caviar? Salmon? Venison? Swan?
I don't remember.
It's just soup.
I suppose that's something. What sort?
No one knows.
Oh,
Do you think you can turn down a royal invitation without getting your head chopped off?
probably not.
I guess that means we're staying. Did you nick the biscuits from the last hotel?
Yes, but I ate them when we stopped for coffee.
I guess we're going to be rather hungry then. Will you go to sleep and stop moaning?
I can't. It's too hot and I'm starving.
You're right. It's very warm for such a large old building. Look, it's 2 a.m. I think we'd be within our rights to leave as soon as we've had breakfast.
I can't wait that long. I'm going to see if I can find the kitchen to make myself a snack.
I don't think... Oh, all right, hang on. I'll come with you. Wait, what happens if we run into the ghost?
Sod the ghost. I can be pretty damn scary myself when I'm hungry.
In here, Zung. I think I found the kitchen.
Blimey, it's baking in here.
It must be that massive wood-fired Aga. That would certainly explain why the castle is so warm.
Yes, and the lack of trees for miles around.
Did you hear that noise?
What noise?
That faint rumbling sound.
Oh, yes. It sounds like a giant snoring.
So it does.
Wait, Mugg. Suppose a giant did kidnap Princess Freckles. Where better to hide her than in plain sight? You know, in one of the rooms of her ancestral home.
Look, for the last time, there's no such thing as a giant. But I like the idea of the princess being hidden here, though.
Well, what's that noise, then?
No idea, but it sounds like it's coming from below us.
Didn't the castle Wikipedia entry say that there were supposed to be vast caverns below it?
Yes, come on, let's try and find out where that sound is coming from. Down here! It's coming from behind this thick oak door. I say, it's frightfully loud.
It does sound like snoring. Look, Mugg, only a giant could make that much noise.
But if it is a giant and he has kidnapped the princess, how are we going to rescue her?
We could call the police.
What? Let them take all the credit? No chance. No. As a military man...
Ex-military man.
OK, as an ex-military man, I think it's our duty to face up to our foe and rescue the princess. Right. We need to arm ourselves ready to do battle.
With what?
There must be something we can use as a weapon in one of these nearby cellars. Quick, you try down that way and I'll look up this. Meet back here in 5 minutes. What did you find? An old pistol? An axe? You're shaking your head. A sword? A dagger?
No, the best I could find was a pair of artery forceps. What about you?
I didn't have much luck either. All the rooms are full of utter junk. The best I could come up with at short notice was this sharp piece of wood. I found it among some picture framing material.
Well, if we don't survive, it's been nice knowing you, Mugg.
Right. I'll open the door on the count of 3 and we rush the place. 1, 2, 3. Charge! Ah!
Where's the giant? My word. Look at all those empty champagne bottles, and is that a Catan board? Who's that asleep on the bed?
Goodness, it's Princess Freckles.
Let me out.
Mugg, there's someone locked in the cupboard over there, in the corner.
Help! Let me out.
Hang on, I'll turn the key.
Thank God you've saved me.
Ah, it's the giant.
Don't be daft. Though I'll admit he is very tall. Excuse me, sir. Would I be right in thinking that you're Jan Heuvel van Vluchte?
You are correct. Quick, we must leave before the princess wakes up. Man, I need a strong coffee.
Come on, Mugg, let's leave sleeping, snoring beauty alone and go and find a cafe. I'm absolutely ravenous.
So, Mr. Hoover van Vluchten, how did you come to be locked in that cupboard?
As you probably gathered, I was in Reims for an auction when I received a message from someone saying that they wanted to buy my collection of gurgle jugs.
Why didn't they just bid for them at the auction like everyone else?
Their message indicated that they couldn't be seen buying them publicly. There was something about their collection being complete, which I didn't quite understand. They arranged to meet me in the gardens near Cirque de Reims at 11 p.m.
Ah, that explains the message imprint we found. Jan, you, 11 p.m. and what would have been vendre, sale, not vendredi, Friday.
Yeah, that sounds plausible. Anyway, I was standing among the trees looking up at the full moon.
Which might explain the huge shadow that Bettany saw.
When I heard someone shout, "Get him!" Suddenly I was jumped by two Neanderthal-looking thugs. I put up a fight, but someone else joined in, so there were 3 of them and only 1 of me. They bundled me into a van and drove to Tutti-Nonde Castle.
So, who was the message from?
Princess Freckles, of course.
Ah, so she must have lost her pen in that scuffle.
Indeed, she wanted those gurgle jugs for her collection. She had her henchmen lock me in the basement cellar and said that I wasn't leaving until I sold the jugs to her. She forced me to play Catan with her too. Apparently, she needed the practice so that she could beat her nephew at next year's Catan World Championships.
My word, that sounds ghastly.
It was. Anyway, you saved me, and I'm eternally grateful. Look, I'm a wealthy man. How can I ever thank you?
Well, I've always fancied dinner at the Ritz myself. I hear they won a Michelin star for their haricot cuit à la sauce tomate sapin grillé. No idea what it is, but it sounds exotic. What about you, Mugg?
I think that's an excellent choice.
Consider it done, my friends. Consider it done.
The Case of the Missing Freckles was written by Tim Reed and starred Richard Hall as the announcer and Dick Zung. Tim Reed was Timothy Mugg and the hotel receptionist. Sarah Gorton was the newsreader. Paddy Fowler was Patrice Volaille. Ailish Fowler was Ailey, with accompaniment from Danny Lind. Beth McCann was Bettany. Freddie Gorton was the castle employee. Marianne Hall was Queen Claremont Rataliga, and John Mountjoy was Jan Heuvel von Vleugde. Snoring was courtesy of Hazel Hall and several glasses of Chablis. Other sound effects were rather mixed, and it was a stuffed wombat production.